Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, chapter 16. This is English exercise of chapter 16, focusing on another reason for the ablative case. Now we know that the ablative shows separation, as here reviewed. We also know that the ablative shows location, accompaniment, means, and manner. Let's focus on separation for a little bit. So the ablative of separation indicates from where or whence the action is coming. So puella asilua ambulat. The girl is walking ambulat asilua, away from the forest. The action is happening away from the forest. The preposition a, sometimes appears as ab if the next word begins with a vowel, is used with concrete. That means you can touch, tangible, able to be touched, nouns, to show from where, whence the action is coming. You can touch the trees of a forest, therefore we put a preposition a. It'll be a b, ab, in front of words starting with a vowel. And the girl is walking away from the forest. Along the same lines of thought, we use the ablative of personal agent if the verb is passive voice, and we use the preposition ab to indicate the agent, that is, the doer of a passive voice verb. Like the ablative of separation, we use the preposition ab, and it shows from where the action comes. So if we take an active voice sentence like consules monui, we don't need the ego, but it could be in there. Consules ego monui, I warned the consuls. In active voice, I actively did the action to a direct object. In the passive voice, what is the direct object, the consules, becomes the subject. The consules a me moniti sunt. The consuls are now the subject. The verb is now passive voice, not perfect active monui, but perfect passive moniti sunt, agreeing with the consules. And the agent, the doer, the one who actually does the passive voice verb is me. In the active voice sentence, we had I did the action to the direct object. In the passive voice, the direct object is, the action happens to the direct object, and it comes from me. So the ablative of personal agent. Agent means the doer, and personal means the person. It's a person who does the passive voice verb. It is very similar to the ablative of separation in that they both use the prepositions ab. So I warned the consuls have been warned, they were warned me, by me. Preposition ab plus the ablative me. The warning came from me. Active voice, omnes te viderunt. All persons saw you, everyone saw you. In the passive, tu, if we wanted to include it, visus es, you were seen, ab omnibus, by everyone. Who actually did the seeing? Everyone did, but the verb is passive. We're indicating that the action is happening to a subject, to a you. You were seen. The scene happened to you, and it was carried out by everyone, ab omnibus. Now, if the agent, if the doer of the passive voice verb is not a person, it's not personal agent, but instead is an object or an instrument, a thing, a non-person, then we do not use the ablative of personal agent. We do not use a preposition. We use the ablative of means, which does not use a preposition, no preposition. So if signum annuntio datum est, if the signal was given by a nuntio, by a messenger being a person, uses the preposition ab to indicate personal agent. The agent, the doer, is the messenger. He's the one that gave the signal. He's the doer, the agent of the passive voice verb. However, if the signal was given datum est by a tuba, by a trumpet, make run over the final A, no preposition because it's an ablative of means. A tuba, a trumpet, is not a person. but an object or an instrument. The signal was given by means of a trumpet. Optime. Let's give it a shot. We are to change the active voice English sentences into the passive voice. Number 1. 12 of the students are finishing the set. Really what we want to do here is take the subject of this active voice, are finishing, and the direct object, the set, becomes the subject. And what was once the nominative subject becomes the ablative of personal agent, if it's a person. So the set is being finished by 12 of the students. By 12 of the students. 12 of the students are finishing the set. The set is being finished by 12 of the students. Number 2, she carried the book into the classroom. The book was carried to the classroom by her. Remember, the passive voice is good for hiding the agent, hiding who's responsible. So she carried the book to the classroom. The book was carried to the classroom. You don't have to include the agent. We can say by her, but the passive voice is very good for highlighting the action. The book was carried. What happened to the book? As opposed to who did the action of the book, or who did the action to the book. She carried the book to the classroom. We know it's her. But if we say the book was carried to the classroom, well, who did it? I don't know. I made a mistake. Mistakes were made. Who made the mistakes? I don't know. 3, the teacher taught geography to the children. So be careful on this one. Geography was taught to the children by the teacher. That's one way to do it. Or we could say the children were taught geography by the teacher. A verb that takes a double accusative, like teaching and asking, if you teach someone something, that takes a double accusative in Latin. So if I teach geography to a student, both geography and student will be in the accusative. If I ask a student a question, student will be in the accusative as well as the word question. Ask a student a question. Both will be in the accusative. So those verbs taking a double accusative, if they are in the passive, they will still take an accusative. And it is one of the only times you can have an accusative direct object if the verb is passive. So there's a good rule to remember. If you have a passive voice verb, you should not have an accusative direct object, unless the verb is a verb of like teaching or asking, where there's a double accusative. So once again, for number 3, we could say geography was taught to the children by the teacher, or the children were taught geography by the teacher. 4, he ate 3 slices of the pizza. 3 slices of the pizza were eaten by him. Remember, what was once the direct object in an active voice sentence becomes the subject. 5, only one of the students has completed the teacher's assignment. Oh no. The teacher's assignment has been completed by only one of the students. Oh my goodness. 6, I painted the barn. The barn was painted by me. 7, why did you take these pencils? I mean, honestly. Why were these pencils taken by you? Number 8, she arranged all the books in alphabetical order. All the books were arranged in alphabetical order by her. Number 9, I painted the barn red. The barn was painted red by me. I will have finished my homework. My homework will have been finished by me. Optime, very well done. That concludes the English exercise for Chapter 16. You are now ready to tackle the parsing of Exercise 16, starting with the parsing Chapter 16, Exercise D. Wow, that was tortured. Volete omnes.